It was 1900 on the eastern seaboard of America. September's song brought golden leaves in the autumn wind and accents of deep red and fiery blue sapphire with rich pink chrysanthemums. In the beginning, David Kilmore was born on a farm belonging to his grandparents, Eric and Sarah Jean Martin. Kilmore Farm is near Village of the Blushing Rose, south of New York City. David's parents, Daniel and Rachel Ann Vincent Kilmore, died before David was 5. Eric taught David about life and the joy of falling in love and raising a family, the special love between a man and a woman. Naomi Jean, Eric and Sarah's teenage daughter, helped raise David. Some of David's fondest memories of his grandparents are their love and affection for each other. They did everything together and rarely were apart. They spent much time on the Kilmore farmhouse porch swing, laughing and talking. Eric wasn't too shy to steal a kiss or two. When David was in elementary school, Sarah Jean died from pneumonia. Eric took it hard and wanted to die too. He would sit in a chair in a darkened room with his head back, eyes closed, and no food or drink. David and Naomi knew they must care for him and provide companionship. After a while, they had to put Eric in a rest home east of the Atlantic Side Hotel, in the suburbs of southeast New York City, where Hannah and David liked to dance on Saturday nights. David dreamed of marrying, raising a family, and being in love like his grandparents. Eric loved animals and encouraged his grandson to enroll in veterinary school, which would be helpful to living on a farm. David went to a veterinary school near Pennington House Rest Home. David visited Eric as often as possible, and after Eric's death, he inherited Kilmore Farm. Naomi inherited Martin Farm. They also inherited together a livery stable once owned by David. David had no siblings to play with and was a lonely child. At age 12, he would walk to the nearby New York City orphanage, play games, and visit with the children there. He rode his 3-year-old light brown horse, Danny Boy, named after his father, Daniel. The orphans loved to ride, feed, and pet Danny. David was shy around girls and didn't have much time for them. He was busy with school and church work, but David was devoted to his faith, church, and animals. He looked for the woman of his dreams, as Eric suggested. Occasionally, David would invite a girl to a party or a dance. No one rang his chimes until a winter afternoon, and something magical happened. Initially, Naomi Jean sat with her parents, Eric and Sarah Jean Martin. She listened to Bible stories and learned to communicate with God through prayer. Dedicated to faith and church, Naomi attended Mass every Sunday morning. She lived on Martin Farm. David helped her with chores, and the livery stable was left to them by the Martin family. Naomi was creative and artistic. She spent many hours in the kitchen, learning to season stew and fried chicken, bake cookies and cakes, and make apple pie, one of David's favorite desserts. Sarah insisted Naomi learn how to set a dinner table with fine china, silverware, and a centerpiece on the table. Napkins matching the tablecloth were used for dinner, and everyday napkins were used for the rest of the meals. Naomi loved to cook, but her favorite was sewing, embroidery, crocheting, and knitting. Sarah also taught her how to use the family spinning wheel. Another skill Naomi needed to learn was shopping for fabric, yarn, and accessories. Sarah advised Naomi to buy cloth remnants, especially if they are on sale, which can be used for collars, ruffles, and other accents. The front bedroom of Naomi's home was changed into a sewing room, complete with the treadle sewing machine, which was later traded for an electric machine. She stored bolts of cloth along the walls. David built her shelves and a cabinet for pins, needles, ribbons, buttons, snaps, and other accessories she needed to make the finest garments, dresses, and aprons. She had so many sewing supplies that she had to store them in the attic. Again, David built more shelves and refinished a cabinet that once belonged to Sarah. Ladies started to come to Naomi's house to have custom dresses, formal, and wedding gowns made for them. She tied matching bows on hats and bonnets. In this room, she volunteered to teach young girls from the nearby orphanage the fine art of sewing, knitting, crocheting, spinning, and embroidery. She taught the girls how to sew buttons on dresses or aprons, mend a tear, or repair a hem and pockets. Who else will teach them? Thought Naomi.